Clerk of the committee. Clerk of the committee. Do we have quorum in terms of our standing orders? 1/3 to commence.
Yes, please, Mr. Chairman. We have quorum 4. The number is 4. 4. Thank you very much.
Very well. Kindly invite the first nominee in the person of Honorable Mahama Ayariga to take his seat. In the meantime, our members, let's have prayers. Almighty God, we humbly beseech Thee to look with favor upon this Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in their sight. Give divine guidance to the President of the Republic. Endow members of Parliament and ministers of state with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labors of government, this land and people may be well and truly served, and their good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. O God, grant us a vision of our country, fair as it might be, a country of righteousness, where none shall wrong his neighbor, a country of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with, a country of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service and honor shall be given to the deserving, a country of peace, where government shall rest on the will of the people and the love for the common good. Bless the effort of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen. Amen. Honorable members of the committee, our distinguished guests, including our revered chiefs, the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all, and welcome to this sitting of the Appointment Committee of Parliament. Honourable members, on Monday, 24th August 2026, the Right Honourable Speaker of Parliament referred to the committee nomination submitted by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, for consideration and approval in accordance with the dictates of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. The nominees before us are as follows. 1, Honorable Mahama Ayariga, MP and Minister Designate for Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. 2, Honorable Dr. Zenator Ajiman Rollins, MP and Minister Designate for Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology. 3, Justice Edward Amoko Asante, nominee for appointment as Justice of the Supreme Court of Ghana. 4, Mr. Anthony Forson, Jr., nominee for appointment as Justice of the Supreme Court of Ghana. And Justice Sophia Rosta Oduokuwa Benasco Issa, Mrs., nominee for appointment as Justice of the Supreme Court of Ghana. The consideration of the nomination constitutes an important constitutional responsibility of the committee. The exercise provides the opportunity for Parliament through the committee to scrutinize the experience, competence, integrity, and suitability of the nominees for the respective offices. In the case of the ministerial nominees, the committee would, among other things, assess their understanding of the mandate of their respective ministers, policies, priorities, leadership, capacity, and vision for contributing to national development. Honorable members, this exercise is an important component of Ghana's democratic and constitutional governance. It is therefore incumbent upon the committee to undertake its responsibility with the highest level of professionalism and in the public interest. At the conclusion of the vetting, the committee would consider the responses arising from the exercise and submit recommendations to the House in accordance with the Constitution and the standing orders of Parliament. I wish to thank honorable members, the media, and all other stakeholders for their participation and support in this important parliamentary exercise. I thank you, and once again, you are all welcome. Honourable members, the nominee is already seated. May I call on the clerk of the committee to swear the nominee. So kindly administer the oath.
I,
Muhammad Ayariga,
swear by the Almighty God
swear by the Almighty Allah
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
the evidence I shall give before this committee Start again. No, you don't need to. Just me. I, Muhammad Ayariga,
swear by the Almighty God
swear by Almighty Allah
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
touching the matter in issue
shall be the truth,
the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
So help me Allah.
Thank you very much, and you are welcome. Honourable members will start by introducing ourselves, and I'll also ask the nominee to tell us about himself, starting from the subject matter committee members.
My name is Charles Agbeve, MP for Agotim SUP and the Vice Chair on the Select Committee on Local Government.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Queen Stamami Pukwat-Soya, the MP for Aguna East and chairperson of the Local Government Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Zuera Muhammad Ibrahima, Member of Parliament for Salaga South Constituency and a friend of the Local Government Committee.
Good morning. My name is Honorable John Dumelo, MP for Ayawaso West Wagon, Deputy Minister for Food and Agric, and a friend of the committee.
I'm Isaac Adongo, MP for Bolga Central. I'm here as a member of the Upper East Caucus to solidarize with my former leader who is being vetted today. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Honorable Ayariga, MP Amenfi West, Chairman, Economy and Development, here to support the nominee. Thank you.
Dixon Chreduya, MP for Brekum West, and a friend of the committee. Thank you.
Rita Naudolisoa, Member of Parliament for the Good People of Dadekotopon and Deputy Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, to support my Honorable Minister. Thank you.
My name is Honorable Elikple Makrugu. I represent the good people of Dome Kwabenya, and I'm a member of the committee.
Shaibu Mahama Daboya Mankargo, member of the committee.
Ladi Ayayamba is my name, MP for Pusiga, a member of this committee.
Chairman, good morning. Good morning, boss. My name is Dafamapo, MP for Southern. Thank you.
Yeah, good morning, leader. My name is Kweku Rekes-Hagen, MP for Cape Coast South, and a member of the committee and vice chair. Thank you.
Bernard here for MP for Akachi South, First Deputy Speaker and Chairman of the committee. Honourable members, we shall commence today's vetting, starting with Honourable Mahama Ayariga. So, Honourable Mahama Ayariga, the nominee, kindly tell us about yourself.
My name is what you have rightly mentioned, Mahama Ayariga. I'm the Member of Parliament for Bawku Central constituency. I have been in this house, I think 5 terms now, and I've served on many committees, including this particular committee, for close to 12 years until I became leader. And I have served on several other committees, including judiciary, constitutional, legal, independent constitutional bodies. In fact, so many committees in this house. Gladly, I ended up as the leader of the house, which I believe is the greatest thing that could happen to anyone who has stayed in this house for this long. Beyond that also, I have served in the executive for quite some time. I started as a presidential spokesperson to President Evans Atta Mills, and then as a Deputy Minister for Education, Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry, and then Minister for Information and Media Relations, Minister for Youth and Sports, Minister for Environment, Science and Technology. And so I've had some experience working as a minister as well. I also have served in the international parliamentary bodies. So I spent some time representing this house at the ECOWAS Parliament in Abuja. Married, no children yet. Done some legal practice as a lawyer, worked for firms, consulted for many organizations, sometimes tried to do a few private businesses, especially during our days in the opposition when we had a lot of time to ourselves. And so basically that is who I am. In terms of schooling, I started my primary education in preparatory school, Bawku, and my father won elections and became the member of parliament for Bawku, and so the family relocated to Accra, and I attended Cambridge Preparatory at Mamprobi, and when in 1981 the military coup occurred, my father went into political exile in Nigeria. I relocated back to Bawku and continued my primary education at preparatory school in Bawku, and then also moved to join my father in Nigeria, where I did some of my primary schooling and attended St. Bartholomew's Primary School in Zaria in Kaduna State, Nigeria. Went to Baruwa College Secondary School in Zaria, Kaduna State in Nigeria. My father was permitted by the PNDC government to return in the 80s, late 80s. So he brought all of us back, and I continued my secondary schooling at Ghana Secondary School in Tamale. And then from there, I went to the University of Ghana, where I studied law, graduated, and continued to the Ghana School of Law, where I graduated with a barrister at law certificate, worked a bit, and continued my education at Harvard University Law School, where I got my LLM. Came back and got elected assembly member for Sabongari electoral area in Bawku. And then afterwards, I got elected also as a member of parliament for Bawku Central, and that has been me in this house all this while. So briefly, this is who I am.
Thank you very much, Honorable nominee. Honourable members, we shall proceed by asking first the subject matter committee members to ask the nominee questions, if any. So I will call on Honorable Queen Star Maami Pokua Sawyer. If you have any question for the nominee, you may do so.
You welcome our leader, Honorable Ayariga. As a committee chair, we are proud to have you, and we know you do a good job for Mother Ghana and the President. I wanted to know your take about the National Cathedral, the building and the ideas behind the construction of the National Cathedral by the former administration. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Nominee.
Thank you very much. I believe that Ghana and Ghanaians, we are a deeply religious people, and even though constitutionally we are considered as a secular state, we are deeply religious people. We are Christians, we are Muslims, we are traditionalists, and the different other religious groupings that we have in our country. And I believe that having cathedrals, church buildings, mosques, and other worship centers are great, exciting things that enable the practice of religion. So the idea of having a national cathedral is, in my opinion, a wonderful, exciting idea. I don't think there's anything wrong with having a national cathedral for the Christian community in our country. If you are asking specifically about the National Cathedral that President Nana Akufo-Addo, when he was president, initiated, I also don't think there's any problem with the idea. I think it was a good idea that was badly executed. Otherwise, I don't think there's a problem with having a national cathedral. I personally had issues with the location that was chosen. I thought that...
Honorable Nominee, Chair, respectfully, you are a leader, and we have a certain attitude when leaders appear before a committee. I sit here with a political position on matters and also in the national interest. So I would want to remind colleagues, especially my respected colleague, we entered the chamber together. When very political questions are asked and they lead to some political answers, what it means is that it changes the atmosphere. Then I am compelled, therefore, to act in a certain way. It's just a reminder so that what was generally agreed as the protocols for leaders could be properly observed. Because I cannot sit here whilst an answer is given which seeks to run down my government that served this country, and we know that there was an audit report that cleared those people, that there was no wrongdoing by Ken Oforiatta or anybody, and then somebody would deliberately drop National Cathedral, which may lead to political answers. Then I am compelled to now discuss the audit report and all that. So, Chair, I will plead with members, if we all had a gentleman's agreement, let's act in good faith. Else, I have to trigger the necessary political tools available to me. I'm saying this as you know, in all good faith, in all fairness to all of you.
Honorable Minority Leader and Honorable Ranking Member, I have listened to the nominee and have not heard the nominee accusing any body in any manner whatsoever. Honourable members, let's observe the rules. We interrupt where the need be. Nominee, you may continue, but be brief in your answers.
Yeah, so I said, personally, I think it's a good idea. The only issue I had, and I said personally, not politically, I had issues with the location. I thought that the location would rather just increase the traffic congestion in that neighborhood. And I also felt that it wasn't the best idea that, given the availability of a lot of land by the ocean, that we hadn't elected to use those lands that were free, and then we pull down bungalows. The second issue is also that I believe that we should have mobilized a lot of private and philanthropical support for the construction. And that also, I think, was a shortfalling of the entire project. But if I am approved by this House and I become the minister responsible for chieftaincy affairs, I will engage the leadership of the Christian community in this country. And I want to assure you that if they remain committed to the construction of a national cathedral, I will engage the president, and if it is the wish of the president, I will wholeheartedly support and mobilize for the project to be continued and, God willing, completed.
Very well. Any further question?
Yeah, I am a bit particular about this. I wanted to ask about what you would do about the relationship between our MMDCs, some of them, and between them and their members of parliament. That is not quite stable. Thank you.
Yeah, for so many years now, we've had situations where some MMDCs and some members of parliament have had difficulty working together. I have, by God's grace, risen to the level of leading this House, and I understand how distracting it can be for a member of parliament to be sitting in Accra working and to have a DCE or MMCE back in the district undermining the member of parliament. For any group that is in government, it is not a good thing, whichever way you look at it. Because if you undermine each other, you are threatening the very viability of the political group. You are destroying your chances of winning or retaining power. And so for those in government, it is not a good idea. And for those who are in a position where the DCE is in one party, the MP is in another party, it is not in the spirit of the Constitution that you should not be working together. The MP has his rights, he has his common fund, and he's entitled to use his common fund within the framework of what the Constitution and the common fund legislation allows, and the formula that we approved in this House. And so I will use my knowledge and experience to try and then build a better working relationship between members of parliament and their MMDCs. So I can assure all members of parliament that my doors will be open so that if any MP has issues with their members of parliament, I'll use my, any MP has issues with their DCEs, I'll use my good office to try and make sure that I resolve the issue so that we can have smooth operation and running of assemblies at the local level.
You're welcome. I then proceed to give the floor to Honorable Alexander Akwesi Akwa.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Congratulations, Leader. Leader, as a follow-up to what the chairperson asked, when your name was mentioned...
You are to ask a substantive question, but
yes.
not a follow-up question. So I will treat that as your substantive
That's fine, that's fine. When your name was mentioned, we had a couple of MPs coming to us, the committee, and giving us questions with regards to their common fund and so. A person like the Tema Central MP just hinted us that since he came into office, his common fund has not been released. So we thank you so much for the promise that your doors are opened and we can knock on your doors for some of these things to be rectified. Thank you very much.
I want to assure him that immediately I assume office, he should come over. There's no basis for his common fund not being released. The common fund has been released by the common fund administrator and transferred to the assemblies. I believe that maybe what he's saying is that he has instructed procurements and those are not being processed by the assembly. So that I will make sure happens expeditiously.
Yes, any further question? Very well. I will then give the floor to Honorable Charles Agbeve.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Leader, I would just want to congratulate you on this appointment and welcome you to the local government secretariat. We in the committee will be supporting you very much. Congratulations once again.
Thank you very much. Yes, Honorable Dr. Chia Sama.
Thank you, Chair. And congratulations, Leader, for your nomination. As part of your portfolio at the ministry is the chieftaincy and the religious affairs sector of the country. And looking at the budgetary allocation, which you've been supervising, overseeing for the past 2 years, you realize the allocation to the chieftaincy sector has been very minimal. And releases to the chieftaincy too has also been very, very minimal. What will you be doing to ensure that the chieftaincy will be given enough support and to make sure that we can also clear the backlog of cases that are pending with the chieftaincy sector?
Yes, Honorable Nominee.
Thank you very much. The chieftaincy institution is perhaps, if not the most important, one of the most important constitutionally guaranteed establishments. And we have, in the Constitution, assigned very important responsibilities to the chieftaincy institution. They are both a legislative body and an adjudicatory institution, from the traditional council level to the paramountcy, to the regional House of Chiefs, to the National House of Chiefs. And so if we resource them adequately, I believe that this country will do far, far better than we are performing now. What I can assure you is that I will try and get the Minister of Finance to make adequate budgetary provision for the chieftaincy institution. But I believe also that there's a huge potential for revenue mobilization within the local government setup itself. There are so many fees, levies, charges, rates that we are supposed to be collecting that we are not collecting. If we collected those ones, there will be enough resources to support all sectors that are performing critical roles at the local level. And chiefs do perform a very, very critical role at the local and regional levels up to the National House of Chiefs level. And so I will explore, one, getting government increase allocation. Two, I will also explore getting the local government authorities to mobilize the revenues that are supposed to be collected at the local level and support the traditional authorities because they really do help them in the governance of the spaces that the assemblies are responsible for.
Any further question? Thank you. I will then proceed to give the floor to Honorable Patrick Yaboma.
Thank you, Chairman. To congratulate the nominee, I don't have any questions for him. Thank
Very well. Honorable...
Patrick, why are you disappointing me?
Honorable
My friend, I expect you to ask me questions.
You have the floor. Please, I've not given you the floor, Honorable Zuera. Honorable Elikule Makurugu, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have no questions. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
I will then move to Honorable Mahama Shaibu.
Leader, congratulations. We wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
Honorable Anodompe, you have the floor.
Speaker, Chair, I see my leader beaming with smiles. I will only wish him well. And I also hope he will come to Parliament as he should to answer all the necessary questions. Leader, I wish you well.
Thank you very much.
Except that I'll also miss you at business statement presentations.
Honorable Haji Aladi. Honorable members, why are you saying bye-bye when she has not said so?
Thank you, Chairman and Speaker. Chairman, you've already heard them telling me what to say.
Very well.
And they were all wanting to say it, but because they don't have the power. Now that it has come to my attention, this is in my own house, my backyard.
Yes.
So everybody is going to join me to say congratulations and bye-bye.
As Honorable Roxanne Nelson Kwame Eche Dapamokpo.
Speaker, thank you very much. Let me wish my boss the very best and to humbly add that he will be sitting in a composite capacity. He will still be assisting us in the House. I thank you.
Honorable Patricia Apiaje, Deputy Ranking.
Thank you very much. Honorable Chair, Honorable Leader, Minister Designate, I don't think I have any doubt about your competency, your academic achievement, and your eligibility. All that I want to wish you is the best of luck in your new position as the Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy, and Sanitation. And I also want to let you know that since you are departing from this leadership role, I've already filed the courts. No, not a motion. I filed the court with the, yes, divorce papers. So I just want you to know that I've done so. Thank you very much.
I will be the presiding judge. That divorce will not be granted. Yes, Honorable James Agaga, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. The nominee is my elder brother, my senior at the bar, and the outgoing majority leader. In the course of his tenure as the majority leader, he chalked so many successes. And like the Chief Whip said, he would continue to sit in a composite capacity. And I believe in context, sitting in a composite capacity would mean that even as the Minister for Local Government, we shall continue to tap into his vast experience and wisdom to manage the affairs of the House. Honorable Mahama Ayariga, congratulations.
Thank you, Leader.
I will proceed to give the floor to Honorable Bawku Hagan.
Thank you very much, Chair. Leader, I'm going to miss you.
Leader.
I have worked with you for many years since I got into this house. I have worked with you quite closely in the last year and a half to two. This house knows you. I know you. Ghana knows you. I think no one has any doubt in his mind about your competence and the good job that you do in your new ministry. I wish you all the best. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's now the turn of the ranking member, Minority Leader.
Leader, you're quite familiar with the pledge, the national pledge.
I'm supposed to be familiar with the pledge. I believe you are also familiar, so we'll recite it together. But since you are younger, you can start reciting the pledge, after which I will also recite.
You are on oath. All right, so you would want us to give us, you want to give us the benefit of the pledge?
I think that I'm one of those who believe that the values captured in our national pledge and our national anthem should be the defining value of every Ghanaian. And so we should not forget it. Many of us make a mistake as we age, we forget the national pledge. So I haven't forgotten the pledge. And so if you want me to recite the pledge, I will. And I urge Ghanaians to try and also revisit the pledge if they have forgotten. And for the younger generation to not just recite it, but pay attention to what it says that we are supposed to do as citizens and live by those principles. So I promise on my honor to be faithful and loyal to Ghana, my motherland. I pledge myself to the service of Ghana with all my heart and with all my strength. I promise to hold in high esteem our heritage won for us through the blood and toil of our fathers. And I pledge myself in all things to uphold and defend the good name of Ghana. So help me God.
Why the speed?
Yeah, you're a very good lawyer. If you want me to move slow, you should have said recite it slowly. If you wanted me to recite at medium speed, you should have said recite at medium speed. If you wanted me to recite at high speed, but you left the option open. And we committed this to memory as children, and so since childhood, this is how I recite it.
Now, respected colleague, in our early days in the 9th Parliament, I described you as a diplomat based on what I have known you to be in the ECOWAS Parliament. How do you hope to bring that to bear in the handling of this new portfolio, especially the sensitive aspects of chieftaincy and religious affairs?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I'm a diplomat or not, but I do my best. I have gone around a bit, even though at a relatively young age. And so I have seen a lot of things. And that experience informs my approach to the way that I do things. First thing is the skill of listening. The skill of listening. I believe that in leadership, you must listen. Develop the skill of listening and hearing. Sometimes we listen, but we don't hear. And also appreciate how to engage with opposing views, with opposing worldviews, with opposing understandings of things, and with opposing interest. You and I have worked very closely, and sometimes people don't understand what happens. And today I will be very frank and tell you, the whole country, that the way that we have related is that when there's an issue, I will tell him, this is my position on this issue, but do your job, let me do my job. Your job as a minority to criticize and bring out alternative ideas. My job as majority is to make sure that government business is executed. And so whatever you do, trust me, personally, I have no problem. But understand also that at the end of it all, I will get government business done. I'll get government business done. So if you are forthright in your dealings with people and they know how you work and you know how they work, you will be able to minimize friction. So chieftaincy is one very sensitive area. I think that the first thing everybody has to understand is that no minister of state has the authority under our constitution to interfere or meddle in chieftaincy matters. It's not the business of a minister to meddle in chieftaincy matters, to interfere in chieftaincy matters. The Chieftaincy Act and the Constitution impose obligations on ministers who are acting on behalf of the president to provide support services to the institution, namely the National House of Chiefs, the Regional Houses of Chiefs, and the traditional councils. That's what the minister is supposed to do, but not to meddle in specific chieftaincy matters. When there is a matter that is actually a chieftaincy matter, it is only the Regional and National House of Chiefs and the Supreme Court that have jurisdiction. Yours is just to provide a facilitating, role if it is needed by either the National House of Chiefs or the Regional House of Chiefs by way of supporting them, as mentioned earlier on, resources so that they can adjudicate the cases expeditiously and dispose of them. But as minister, you have no mandate to go interfering in chieftaincy matters. And that's exactly how I will approach the work. Thank you.
Leader, I have with me a petition dated the 15th of August, 2026, from the Mamprogu Traditional Council with reference number MTC/P27/52/442. I received it at 10:41 a.m. on the 20th of August, 2026. In this petition, the petitioners contend that you, as a person, they have no doubt about your academic qualification, your professional qualification, and political competence. They have no doubt at all. They believe that you qualify to serve the high office of Minister of State. Their concern, however, is the fact that you may not be neutral, you may not be impartial, and perhaps you may not be independent. And above all, they are not too sure whether or not they can have your confidence. I'm sure they are listening to all of us and watching us. Can they have some assurances from you that should this house pass you, you are going to be a father for all, irrespective of any prejudice they may have formed against your person?
Thank you very much. All I can say is that my mother is a Mampushi. Mampushis are my uncles. They are partly responsible for my upbringing and training. If I fail in this new job, then it means that there is a defect in the way they have trained me. And I believe that they have trained me well, and I'll vindicate them by living up to their expectations. That I can promise them. I can promise my grandfather, the Nairi, that in my capacity as Minister for Chieftaincy Affairs, I will definitely live up to his expectations. Thank you.
Respected leader, now you delve into District Assembly revenue mobilization. I heard you on very strong points in one of your very brilliant submissions on the House floor when we were considering the common fund allocations, where you held a view that very impoverished districts should be given more, and those others in their cities who can rely on the private sector for revenue should be encouraged to formulate policies that would enable them make revenue. Would you want to seize this opportunity to explain that better and how a ministerial policy can be enacted to achieve that purpose? I say so because I am myself a product of the District Assembly. My politics started as an assemblyman. I became a presiding member. And oftentimes our MMDCs are redundant. They just do the routine work, waiting for revenue. And sometimes even the revenue, it's pocketed and nothing gets to them. The systems in place to do the checks and balances are not there. So talk to me about policy, ministerial policy in that respect, and whether or not in such a policy you will introduce technology aimed at helping reduce the thievery, the embezzlement, or the insufficient transparency in the accountability of revenue mobilization at the assemblies?
Thank you very much. I also started as an assembly member. I just didn't have the fortune to be a presiding member like you. I'm very passionate about local governance. I think that the first thing people have to know is that it is the intention of our Constitution that assemblies should be self-financing. That's actually the intention of the Constitution, that assemblies should be self-financing. And your capacity to be self-financing is one of the criteria used to determine whether or not you should be granted assembly status. So you're supposed to be self-financing first, and then the constitutional architecture to share part of the central government revenue says that the revenue that is sent to you as common fund money is only for development, even though the Constitution does not define what development is. We all, understand what development is: infrastructure, clinics, and etc. But the management of the assembly, the expenses of the assembly, is supposed to come from the assembly itself. That we have largely failed to achieve. The second thing that I want to say is that when I was nominated, my friend, the finance minister, called me to congratulate me. And I said to him, I will be richer than you soon. That's to say my Ministry of Local Government, will be richer than you soon. And so how will you get richer than me? I said, because as for you, you can only collect VAT, and then you collect income tax, and then you are at the port collecting import levies and etc. But the DCE can collect revenue rates on every single building and property sitting in his district, and he can collect it every year. He can collect basic rate, what the whites used to call poll tax, on every citizen residing in that district, and collect market tolls, collect lorry park tolls, collect all sorts of levies. I mean, when you go through the Local Governance Act, from section 137 onwards, you see the list of things that the assemblies are supposed to be collecting. The last time I sat with some experts to do some basic analysis, from property rates alone, I believe that the assemblies could be collecting close to 20 billion Ghana cedis annually. Just property rates alone, at very, very conservative figures. And so the potential exists. I was having a conversation with some civil servants a few days ago, and I was telling them that I cannot understand why the district in which Ghana Airport Company is located will ever be a poor district. And drawing parallels with cities like London, New York, Istanbul, you find out that the mayor and the local government authority has more money than the central government at those locations. We are urbanizing and people are moving to the urban centers. The agglomeration has huge economic potentials for assemblies. What they are not doing is just not identifying and collecting. So like you indicated, the first major thing I will do as minister is to put in place an infrastructure for us to immediately identify all properties across the country that are supposed to be paying rates to the assemblies. What we have now is we have the street naming and addressing, house numbering program. But what that does is it simply gives you the location of a property and a particular address. But it doesn't tell you the nature of the property, the value of the property for the purposes of levying rates. And so we will embark on a major exercise of identifying all properties, having them properly described, and having them properly valued so that the assemblies can levy the appropriate rates. And to deal with the problem of people taking the money and pocketing it, we will also try as much as possible to ensure that everything is digital. And so it will be difficult for you to divert the resources. And we want to ensure that we try to understand why at the local level it is not being collected. When you ask the DCE to go to the chief's house and collect property rates, I'm sure he will think that you are, passing a death sentence on him. You may not easily have a DCE insisting that his constituency chairman should pay property rates. And secondly, when you leave it to them to collect, they may also end up leaving it in the hands of party foot soldiers, families, nephews, and etc. When they also are given that task, they feel that it is their reward for supporting a family member to become an MMDCE. And so when they collect it, they are not supposed to account to him. And so many dynamics are at play to make it difficult for collection. That's why for all these years, there hasn't been collection. And I also believe that in a lot of cases, the tax experts will tell you that some taxes are just not worth collecting because they're just not significant. And so I will look at how we can get a system that is centrally monitored, a system that is designed in such a way that it is totally digital in terms of identifying and valuing properties, totally digital in terms of the mechanism for payment, and totally digital in terms of the disbursement of the resources. I believe if we do that, we'll be able to realize the full potential of assemblies to mobilize revenue and deal with their development challenges.
Very well. Leader, I have a follow-up on this, but this Galamsey menace is a serious problem. I had a rare privilege of discussing some governance issues with one prominent religious leader in our country who is part of your entourage. I don't have his permission to mention his name. He expressed deep concerns about Galamsey. And he was worried about we, the political actors, how we behave, our attitude towards natural resources and general well-being of our people. How do you hope to get your MMDCs to help fight Galamsey activities in their various districts and municipalities?
I have a long-standing relationship with small-scale mining. If you recall, in my previous life, I was Minister for Environment, Science, and Technology. And so in that capacity, I was very concerned about small-scale mining activities. I think there's also an issue of nomenclature. What we call galamsey is simply either artisanal mining or small-scale mining activity. That's what we call galamsey. When we determine it as galamsey, it gives it a negative connotation. What are the underlying causes? The underlying causes really are that a lot of these young people who want to mine legally have difficulty obtaining the requisite permits to carry out the mining activity. And because they don't have the requisite permits to carry out the mining activity, they also consider themselves as illegal actors. And because they are illegal actors, all the relevant or required investments to mine properly, safely, and reclaim, they don't do it because they know that they have no right or title, and it will be unsafe to make those investments. Otherwise, many of them actually have the resources to, make the investment. I will want us as a country to rethink and say, how about if in every district we identify the actors and where they are carrying out the actions and find a way of ensuring, of course, not in water bodies, not pulling down existing cocoa farms and etc. But how about if we strengthen the regime of small-scale artisanal mining and make sure that at the local level, the MMDC pay close attention to small-scale artisanal mining as an economic activity, Why would we be interested in Newmont coming to carry out large-scale mining here, and yet in areas where the defined ore is not wet large-scale mining, but there's still some gold, we don't also now try to structure, the artisans and the young people to carry out small-scale mining activity legitimately. So I will approach the job with that attitude that let's engage, let's ensure that they are doing it legally, let's invest in EPA and have a lot of personnel at the EPA, let's invest in Minerals Commission and have a lot of mining engineers who are in every district, who identify every single space where a mining activity is taking place, who make sure that mining is conducted in a way that is consistent with all the environmental regulations, and who also ensure that whoever carries out the mine, at the end of it, will reclaim the area and plant and make sure that they invest in restoring the area to what it was before they came. And if we did that, we will minimize the friction, and then we would actually benefit. Because as it is now, we're actually benefiting as a country from the activities of small-scale and artisanal miners. And I think that whilst we're benefiting, we should also be investing in them, which is investing in personnel to support them, investing in infrastructure to support them, investing in monitoring them. I recall you had a press conference some time ago. In fact, 2 or 3 days ago, there was also a press conference by the NPP who said, for instance, that the activities of Gold Board is encouraging illegal miners because they are not able to trace the gold to establish whether it is coming from a legal mining activity or an illegal mining activity. So what that calls for is that we must invest in trying to know the location where the gold is coming from and who is mining there, and whether the person is mining legally or not. And in most cases, how do we ensure that they are mining legally? Because as a country, I don't think we are totally against mining. I think we're against mining in ways that destroy the environment, pollute the water bodies, and endanger the lives of all of us as Ghanaians.
Yes, so I think your last phrase is what carries the entire burden. Irresponsible mining, activities that destroy water bodies and our forests. So I would want you, as part of the reset to get the MMDCs to rather focus on that bit. I think that would be reassuring to the country, if we do that. So once you are giving your word on that, I won't belabor. My last point, then we can call it off. The Constitution talks about the local government concept, and it de-emphasizes the partisanship nature of it. There are calls for a full-blown partisan political system at the local government level. In advanced democracies that we copy the example, their entire political structure is partisan. Even in the United States, even at the prosecutorial level, people contest for it. You know that this attorney general of a particular state is a Republican or a Democrat. I mean, they have allowed it. Now, we are a bit concerned about what we have heard recently in circles of government, that the constitutional amendment that is to be expected, there's a proposal for the president alone to have the mandate to nominate people to contest. We hold the view that if it is an open contest, then it should be anybody contesting, if we don't even want to make it partisan. The president should have no hand in who contests for mayor or a DCE. I want to know your own views regarding the reforms at the district level elections. Are you for an open field where elections are called, those who qualify to participate go pick forms, or you still think that the central government should nominate people to go for an open election?
Thank you very much, Minority Leader and Ranking Member, for the question. This question raises very fundamental constitutional jurisprudential issues. And I know you will ask me to not lead you into jurisprudence. But structurally, what we have now is a situation where, one, we want to maintain a unitary state. We want to maintain a unitary state. And at the same time, we want to ensure that governance is owned at the local level. There's local participation, there's trust, and because of that, the locals are contributing towards their own governance and development. So these are the core objectives. Now, for those who say, let's have free-range elections at the local level, this is what will happen. We'll be electing two people who will have executive powers. When you elect a DCE of a given geographical space, he would have executive powers, and then you now elect assembly members who will have legislative powers. Then at the national level, you elect a president who has executive powers, and then you elect members of parliament who have legislative powers. So some of the concern expressed by those who are designing the architecture is, if you elect a president and then the president doesn't have control over who is also exercising executive powers in a particular given location, are you likely to be triggering conflict between the person elected by the whole country to exercise executive authority and the person elected in a district to also exercise executive authority? Who becomes accountable? That is a structural issue. Most people don't understand the architectures of other jurisdictions. So for instance, let's take the United States. In the United States, you will say, oh, but we have the federal government and we have the state government. They have succeeded in doing that because what they have done is to, within the executive functions, to establish spheres of control. So the federal government is in charge of defense. The federal government is in charge of foreign policy, international relations. The federal government is in charge of interstate commerce. Okay? So you have defined specific areas of executive power that is reserved to the federal government. Every other power is left to the state. So when you elect a state governor, he knows his territory. He doesn't interfere in the territory of the federal government. That's why you will watch movies. For those of you who have lived in the US, you will see that you have the state having its own police force. New York police, Los Angeles police. You never hear federal government police. Federal government have their federal government bureau, you get it? So even in terms of, security sector, spheres are defined. That's why you're watching a movie and then there's a crime committed, then the local police get there, then the federal council say, no, this one is ours, this one is not yours. You get it? Or the local police arrive there and federal police say, oh, this one is also ours, it's not yours. So if we actually, as a country, try to rather define the spheres of executive power and assign what executive power we think should be performed by local government, and therefore we're electing a DCE, and he has that executive power, irrespective of who is president, and what executive power is for a president, and so when we vote him, he doesn't interfere in the area of executive power, and then the citizens know who to hold accountable for what. The same way even in the United Kingdom, people don't realize it. The real governance structures there are the local authorities. Then, of course, you now have the prime minister, and they focus on some other areas. But if you go to London, you have London Metropolitan Police. You get the situation. I don't recall seeing any other rival authority. So that's the first fundamental issue that needs to be addressed. Otherwise, you might just be superimposing structures on others and ultimately end up creating conflict. And if you address that, you'll be addressing the other concern that others have, which is basically that a president wants to have a DCE that is reliable in terms of the execution of his own mandate. But if we have defined the spheres of influence, you can't be telling that you want a DCE that is reliable, because your sphere of influence is there, and then the DCE's sphere of influence is also there. So there are deep, fundamental, structural issues that we need to think through. Now, this proposal that was presented and which government looked at and recalibrated it and gave a position paper tries to meet each side halfway. So we want a situation where the president is able to work with the person who is the DCE, okay, because he nominates him. But we also want to make sure that that person is accountable to the entire population of voters in his district. As it is now, the system we have is that the president is comfortable because he has nominated that person, but the person is approved by elected assembly member, which is a college. So it is easy for him to make sure that he stays in power as long as he satisfies that small number of elected assembly members. And the entire population is complaining because they are not satisfied. But he and his assemblymen, they are happy because he's able to manage his assemblymen in such a way that they don't trigger a vote of, no confidence in him. So it is a midway approach where the president can nominate, but it's no longer just the assembly members who are going to be doing the approval of the nomination. It is the entire population that is going to be doing the approval of the nomination, so that the DC will also feel that he has responsibility towards the entire population of voters in his district, municipality, or metropolis. That's the whole idea. I think that Ghanaians have to think through it, and let's see, and let's experiment and see if it will lead to an improvement in the performance of local governance.
Honorable nominee, so as we land, I want to ask you, in every difficult and danger you find yourself in life, in whom do you normally put your trust?
Yes, honorable nominee.
You want me to ask you?
Recently, when I got married in my lovely wife.
Now, finally, as you exit, you opted to make some disclosure. And I was happy with the disclosure you made regarding the politics we play on the floor. Sometimes we, all of us as political actors, we suffer that unfortunate perception people have about the politics we do. Sometimes they don't know that it's a role play. In my case, I've had a situation where somebody said, "Oh, Afenyo, can't you be as calm as this particular colleague of yours?" I said, "Yeah, colleague is not minority leader. If he gets into that hot seat where he has to consult every party elder till 5 a.m. and he sleeps for 1 hour and has to carry the burden on his shoulders, he won't be calm again." Anyway, I want to ask you, for those who don't know you and I, if somebody asks you to describe Afenyo Markin as your opposite number, Ayariga, what would you say? I'm done.
I would say he's a troublesome boy.
He is indeed troublesome.
But I will also add, that he is somebody you can trust when you are dealing with him. When I say trust, wait till I define trust. You can trust that he will cause trouble. You can trust that he will push his side's position. Of course, and at all times, even I would say, I know this will be difficult for you, but you have to play your role. You are a minority. You have to play your role. And people call me, "Why do you allow Markin to do all the things that he's doing?" I'm like, he's just playing his role. He's just playing his role. So let him play it. I'll play mine. When he finishes doing all the things that he's doing, I'll cause the vote. And then the decision will be taken the way I want it. So that has been it. But, in addition, working with you in the last 1.5 years, I've come to know you as a person of integrity and honesty. And I want to thank you for the forthrightness with which you have dealt with me as the majority leader. I hope that you and my successor will find common ground and work the same way. I've already told him that you are not somebody that he would he should be yielding to. He should be doing more than I was doing. Me, you know, because I'm a little older than you, I used to tolerate you a lot. This man is about your age mate. So it's about your age mate. I've actually told the president to increase the number of fire tenders in this area. So you might see 2 or more fire tenders being brought and parked in front of the Chamber of Parliament House, because I also know what he will do to you. I could tolerate you, listen to you the whole day, and just get up and say 1 or 2 things, and then have us vote. This man, he would like to reply to everything that you will say. So also be ready. But I want to say that I enjoyed my time working with you as the minority leader. And I just want to encourage you that so many things will be thrown at you, but from what I've come to know of you, I know that you are very resilient. You never give up. Even when you are lying down, you'll be shouting. When I get up, you will see me. When you are lying down, you're on the ground. So anyway, but I honestly enjoy your friendship. I enjoyed your friendship, and I do appreciate that. And the entire minority caucus, who will make all the noise, but in the end will support, sometimes even support more than my own, side, to ensure that bills are passed, approvals are given, and etc. I may ask for permission from you to go to the Ministry of Local Government with Honorable Patricia Apiaje. So the reason is that she was the mayor of Kumasi. Oh, please, it's not about our other relationship that I want to carry you there. It is because of your expertise as a former mayor of Kumasi and a former deputy regional minister. I'm sure many of you don't know, but I was partly responsible for she being made mayor of Kumasi. She was a deputy regional minister for Ashanti. And then the office of mayor of Kumasi became vacant. And then President Kufuor asked her to act as the mayor and at the same time as the deputy regional minister. And you know that in Ashanti region, the mayor of Kumasi is a very weighty position. I was then the ranking member for Constitutional, Legal, and Parliamentary Affairs. So every morning I organized a press conference to bash President Kufuor for not appointing a substantive mayor. So one early morning he got tired of my press conferences and announced her as the mayor of Kumasi. So I'll be carrying her to the local government ministry to learn from her experience. I thank you very much, Chairman.
On that note, your request is approved.
Yes, Chair, I know that you are always in a hurry to dispossess me of this woman. You cannot take her away. Honorable Ayariga, somewhere I read that rising to eminence by merit, you live respected and die regretted. I entertain no doubt that your industry has earned you this high office, and that has equally earned you that respect. We'll be there to support you, but you know my job. I've lost a lot of friends because of this job, but I know that God will be by my side. So when my questions start coming, get ready. I cannot afford to continue with this 87. Definitely, I must also make it 150 in the minimum. In the minimum, 150 in the next election. So I have to do my job. Okay? So all the best, my brother. Thank you so much.
Honorable Ayariga, I have no question for you, but really I want you to clarify a position regarding your answer to the utilization of the common fund. I want you to be specific. The percentage of the common fund that the MPs are entitled to authorize utilization, in order not to create the impression that MPs are entitled to the entire common fund.
MPs are clearly not entitled. I indicated that what has been allocated by Parliament to members of Parliament, that's the only amount that you are entitled, not the common fund of the Assembly. The common fund of the Assembly is, the utilization is determined based on the guidelines given by the ministry to the various assemblies and decisions of the Assembly regarding what projects they want to undertake and where they want to locate the project and who they want to execute the project. But there's a small amount that is allocated by Parliament to the members of Parliament in the formula. I mean, it's been challenged constitutionally and etc. We all know about that. But it's just a small amount of money that Parliament allocates. It is sitting at the Assembly, but when there are petty projects like, emergencies in the constituency, the MP can direct the Assembly that I visited community A and then the windstorm destroyed the school building. I visited community B and then the clinic has run out of some basic amenities. And so I want the Assembly to procure, these things and send to these facilities. And so the management of it is actually by the Assembly. The money goes to the accounts of the Assembly. But at the Assembly, they have created account for the Member of Parliament, which they call the MP's account. But it is sitting at the Assembly. And the MP has to give the instruction to the coordinating director that I want you to fix that school or fix that toilet or